dropping knowledge on Grambo Bros. Talking about plants and how they go. Let's go. From seeds to the cure, we always smoke pure. Nothing but good vibes up in here. We blaze the ganja, keep it fire. Grambo Bros, burning desire. Learn about cultivation, step by step. You can rock out the negativity. Cannabis vibes up in here. Grambo Bros, runs up here. Grow, my bringing life.
Nothing but good vibes up in here. Grambo Grows. Thank you so much, Cannabis Vibe, as always, for that awesome theme song. It always puts me in the mood. Nothing but good vibes up in here. Grambo Grows. I mean, dude, he nailed it. What is up, GramFam, Gramboard? So many is already in the chat. What is up? We got 50, 60 people already hanging out. It's going to be tough to shout out everyone, but yo, what up, early arrivers? We got Lloyd, Sleeps with Sativa, Juan W, Curly Green Leaf. Who we got? We got Jimmy Anderson, Gramboard. We got Hookstergram. We got Gramboard. We got Jimmy Anderson, Gramboard. We got Standing Fox, Gramboard. If you guys want to join the Gramboard, right next to the subscribe button, there's a little button that says join. All sorts of stuff is coming up this little bit. If you want to become Gramboard, now's the time. There's going to be a lot of crazy stuff coming. I'm moving. I'm getting a new studio. Lots of new stuff is coming. I'm getting back into stand-up. So I don't know. I might have someone follow me around, do like a little reality type show thing for you guys. For all you members out there, just show what the life is of like a formerly single comedian. I used to say I was a single comedian after the divorce. Got a nice girl now. Shout out to her, the Kansas cutie. Don't stalk her. Don't stalk her, GramFam. Just let her be. If you want to meet her, hopefully she'll be at the Cup this year. So come hang out. It'll be a reason to come to the DGC Cup this year. So thank you guys. It's been a I better not be on mute. You son. I just saw who wrote that. Fucking Love Lamp on mute. Unfortunately, I'm not on mute, am I? I'm talking. You guys can hear me. What are y'all smoking on? I know what I'm smoking on. I've been switch hitting. I got a you guys know me. I love me my Tropicana from Kyle over there, and love me some Threes Genetics from the homie JLS Monster. So I got that Rainbow Curl number 2 going down. I got that Chem number 4. Anytime you're smoking herb with numbers in it, you know you're on the right path, because you either got some BX1s, you got some what do we got? Oh, got that peanut butter pie. Scotty got nailed in the comments this last weekend because he kept calling it the peanut butter breath. He's like, oh, thank you, JR. We got that peanut butter breath. And everyone's like, dude, it's the peanut butter pie. You of all people should know that. We forget, man, especially poor Scotty. He's got, between like mental like stuff that he forgets and all the weed that he smokes. Oh, you got that? Got that Chem Ford too. I hung out with P-Bud with Jug Dealers. What up, Gramborg member? Banjo 420 smoking on that legacy strain, smoking on that Durban. I was never a Durban guy. Thank you, Pop-Up. Smash that like button. You know what I say. Smoke that like button and roll this video up and pass it to a friend. Guys, we're coming up on 5,000 subscribers. I didn't know what to expect with this, but you guys have been so freaking awesome. And so yeah, if you're not subscribed, now's the time. I'm coming up on 5,000. I don't know what I'm going to do to celebrate 5,000, but I'm going to do something fun. I'm going to do something fun. I don't know. What do you got? You smoking on that tiramisu? I've never heard of that. That sounds awesome. Cooley. Damn. Some lemon party and some Chem D. Yeah. Once again, hanging out with P-Bud, man. If you guys didn't catch that episode of Jug Dealers with P-Bud, go back and watch the classic Jug Dealers episodes. They're so good. P-Bud, he's the guy that popped the Chem 91, the Chem D, the Chem 4. I love the stories, man. I love all the stories about that stuff. I love meeting the people behind these genetics, hanging out with like the homies like Adam Dunn. And so that's what brings kind of tonight's guest so special. So for some of you guys, you obviously know that I work with Jug Dealers. So and they got the Jug Dealer sale going on right now, pre Black Friday sale. Jugdealers.shop. Go get that buy two get one free. It's not going to last forever. And so I work with Jug Dealers. And then obviously what got me the gig there was Dude Grows, proving myself with Dude Grows. What got me my beginning in the cannabis movement? I started with Dude Grows in 2021. And I started my cannabis journey when I moved here in 2015 with John Doe Radio. Who remembers John Doe Radio? If you remember John Doe Radio, throw it in the chat, leave a comment. Tim Martin and Bike Holly were essentially John Doe Radio. Lots of different iterations. It was really Tim Martin's John Doe's his baby over there. But yeah, these guys were so nice. They brought me into the fold, and my first ever cannabis media gig was John Doe Radio. And so one of the funny things is that if you go back to when Dude Grow started in 2011, 20 no, not 2011, 2014 is when Dude Grow started. John Doe Radio predates that. And after talking with Brett, the dude, to use his Christian name, the inspiration for Dude Grows was essentially from like the dude side would be like Joe Rogan was popping in 2010, 2011. He's still popping, but you know, the legacy Rogan back when you could still be a Rogan fan. Rogan on the dude side, Howard Stern on Scotty's side. Scotty loves the Howard Stern. And then if you take Howard Stern, Joe Rogan, and John Doe Radio and smush them together, you have yourself the Dude Grows Show. And if you look at it like that, it actually makes perfect sense. You see exactly where the inspiration comes from. And yeah, it was I remember I'd be sitting at the ice rink. I worked at this ice rink and I had this crackhead manager, and I mean an actual crackhead. I'm not just throwing stones. He smoked rock cocaine, and but his big thing was he would inject himself. He was a big shoot 'em up guy. He would take the blue morphine pills and hook him up with a cigarette butt. And this is the guy who was in charge of my ice rink for years. It was mania. And so I never wanted to hang out with this guy. So I would go outside and I'd smoke hella bud out my oney. I had a little dolphin oney that I would smoke out of. And then we had all this, sometimes the white of the ice rink, you know how the ice rinks are white. Sometimes they're not painted. Sometimes it's white vinyl that they lay down that they can like then reuse. And so I would smoke a bunch of weed, and then I'd take all the vinyl that was during the summertime when it was warm. It would all be piled up in the corner, and I would go sit and I would just lay in this pile of white rolled up hockey vinyl high, and I'd listen to John Doe Radio, and I would think of like, man, when I get to Denver, and at this time I'm still hooked on pills. I had a back injury for a long time after working in a warehouse and then re-hurting it playing hockey. And they prescribed me Vicodin for my back injury. And so I had quite, ever since 2007 to 2017, 10 years, I had a really bad Vicodin problem I could never really escape from. And so I remember I would just sit there and I would fantasize about like, what will my life be like? You know, I'm listening to Dude Grows, I'm listening to John Doe Radio, I'm listening to the Adam Dunn show. What will life be like when I get to Denver? Well, I'll tell you, when I was on the pills, it went almost nowhere. And then as I started to get sober and get my California sober, smoking weed here, I'm not the most sober. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Once I got off them, all those shows I just named, I've been lucky enough to be a part of all of them. I've been a guest on Adam Dunn's show several times. I was a mini co-host on John Doe Radio, and you guys know I am the full-on producer of the Dude Grows show. So I gotta say that like getting off drugs and moving here was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And oh my God, so if you follow me on Instagram, and you should follow me on Instagram at Josh Grambo, a lot of times in my stories, I post a lot of motivational stuff. I don't post that for you guys. I post that for me. If you get value out of it, that's great. But I don't want to forget these inside of your archive. Your Instagram stories go on forever. So anytime you want to go back, you can click on the 3 little hamburger menu on Instagram, go to archive. That's got every single story you've ever published. Oh, Lord, that's awesome to hear, my man. Same for me. It was 2017 that I got clean. It was 2017 that I started doing stand up. And so I got to Colorado, and yeah, the John Doe radio show. I started working with them, and Tim also had a pill problem. And so we didn't combine. He was sober when I knew him, and we were just going back and forth. But I never saw any comments. Does anyone remember John Doe Radio? Does anyone go back that far? Because yeah, we're going back 10 years here, and it still exists. The old episodes are still there. I dare you to try to find the episodes I'm on. I couldn't find them. I don't know what's going on. Stoner dude. Yeah. I mean, sober on weed is a thing. Oh, get seeds right here remembers. How do you get seeds right here 420? This man who's about to pop in, I imagine here is himself right here. Get seeds right here. That is Bike Holly. Now I was confused. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get to the bottom of this because I remember always thinking, like, what is that? James Bean's second account over there? Like seeds here now? No. Completely different. We're going to get the story about what this is. If you guys are on Instagram, you need to follow, get the full. I'll play a video, but this guy's like a clone librarian is the closest thing I could describe to what the hell is going on. His Instagram feed is sick. It's literally got like aisle, like you would go to like Walmart or something. Not like Walmart, but like a library, like a little like school library. You go in there and there's just like shelves of clones. So for all you guys that don't remember, I'm so happy to get to reintroduce you to my man, Bike fucking Holly. What's up, dude?
Rambo. What's up, dude? Good to see you. I'm glad we
Huh.
we reconnected a few weeks ago, but we haven't really chatted much. So this will be fun to get it all out here.
Yeah. So yeah, I hyped you up. You are it's like I'm on this weird, like psychedelic, like I'm not one of these like secret manifest sort of guys, But as I'm looking back at my life, I go, like all the people that I was like a fan of and really respected, and like in my cannabis journey, even the fact that like cannabis where we are in Colorado has kind of like bloomed the way it is. I never saw that coming. What a weird, awesome world we live in.
It was
So,
hard
and
to see
you,
it. It was hard to see it
yeah,
from here. Well, everyone was looking here, so we didn't really know what they were seeing. So it was just normal to us.
and it still is, right? So I was
Sure.
mentioning your Instagram video. How many clones would you say you have on deck at any given time?
Um, it's different week to week. There's easily thousands available at any given time. We have the 600 strains available, so it's there's a lot. There's a lot of new stuff coming in. It's hard to let go of stuff, but sometimes you have to. But just the theme of the weed world, out with the old and with the new as fast as you can. So we're always looking for that new stuff. But yeah, when I started selling seeds, and I haven't sold. I don't know. I haven't sold 100 seeds this year. Probably I stopped pretty much selling seeds. Everyone just wants clones.
Wow. And what do you attribute that to? Just fear? Did something happen? What makes everyone not pop beans?
It's way faster. You don't have to.
Well,
You don't have to wait. You don't have to. You don't have to pick a male out of your grow. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about picking the right pheno. A lot of people think that's trickier than it probably is, and they don't think they have the confidence to do it. So they just say, "Oh, I know what to expect here with this clone." So it got popular really fast. 2019, 2020 is when it really started.
okay.
Being captivated with COVID, helped a lot because it was something new. People needed something to do to kill time. And there's some strains that you haven't seen in a while, so or you heard about, and you don't have to. The seeds aren't available anymore, so you can still grow the strain. There's a lot of advantages.
And so do you have to do like a Telegram sort of thing? How do you post your menu? Do you have a website? Do you do Telegram? I know a lot of my friends like taking Todd. Do you know Kyle from Tropicana? Have you met him?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
For a long
they're all
time.
over on Telegram is like the secret spot. How do people find your menu?
Google, getseedsrighthere.com.
All right.
Ever since the 2018 Farm Bill, when they made all those hemp adjustments and made hemp legally, federally legal, seeds fell under that category, and soon we were like, oh, clones do too, and and that's been a thing, and then next thing you know, THCA was a thing, but
Was a
so
thing,
it's
right?
not, it's
Didn't they catch it?
it hasn't been illegal. I mean, when I started selling clones on Instagram, I'm sorry, on Facebook, 13, 14 years ago, that was just medical. So that was the only protection we had there. That was a very different clone market though. And it's changed a lot over the short period it's bloomed too.
And so how do you select yours? Like, so for everyone that doesn't know, like bike, there's a couple people that I consider that know everybody. I'd say Adam Dunn knows like everybody.
Adam knows
Gabe,
everybody.
Gabe from
Yeah.
Jug Dealers, New Millennium 58. Gabe knows everybody. And Bike Hall, you know it.
I know
So
it's a good portion of a lot of people, but definitely, I know everyone. I know the right people who know everyone. So yeah,
well, also we'll always say at 5'8" when we're hanging out there, it's like you got to be cool in this industry because it's smaller than you think. Like there's a bunch of floaters running around, but the people who are actually the knowledgeable, good cannabis humans, and there's what, like 150, maybe in the whole world.
and you can tell who the new guys are if you've been around for a while, or the people who came from the corporate side of things. But I guess it takes everyone to make it happen.
So when you have the bulk, because I know right now we at Dude Grows, we have a saying that we always say, check your weed privilege,
Heard you
and
say
so
it.
yeah, so when you're in that situation, one of the hardest things is like when I go to start a new run, what the fuck do I grow? Like, what do I got clones, I got seeds, I got people just throwing cuts at me. How do you decide what's like? Because a lot of people, there's either you follow the trends or you set the trends. I imagine you try to do a little bit of both.
I have to take them into account and at the same time ignore them, because something I've learned over the years is that when people, you get used to certain strains. I get used to having certain clones, and I get the excitement goes away after a while. But then there's you find someone who has been looking for it for a long time and didn't know they could get it, or for whatever reason never had access to it. You have to realize how big the weed world is and how small our circles are, and they only go so far. So that's why I have so many around, because I learned that people come back looking for stuff, or not everyone has seen Blue Dream. They've maybe only heard about it. It's been around forever, but there it is. So you can grow it anytime. There's really there's really no method to what I'm gonna get rid of or bring in. Sometimes I hear I have people always looking for me, and they tell me what they can get. I get excited, and it's fun to bring in, but then the clone that maybe doesn't get the same attention I thought I was going to get. So it makes me think I'm getting old a little bit, and I got to start seeing what these young guys want now. But yeah, it's fun. It's not easy, but it's fun. I don't always make the right choices, but I got rid of a strain, and someone comes looking for it the next week. You know how it goes.
Right.
Murphy's Law.
So what's your roots with home growing? I always think of you in the modern days, this kind of like, mid ground, we call it like the legacy market, the gray market, and in that world. What's your home grow roots? I never thought about you sitting at home with a watering can.
I don't have a grow currently, but the last house I was in, I had a 10x10 in the basement and a bunch of 4x4s. But then I grew a house, and I don't really keep my strains here that I sell. They're coming from nurseries. So I have grown at home. It's not currently. I know it's probably weird to think about me growing, but I have. It's
Of course. Well, of course you grow. That's always always the thing. Like with Gabe, he's always like, "Oh, I remember I built this 100,000 square foot facility," and then he grows in a tent. And it's just like,
Sure.
oh shit, it's interesting.
Yeah, my wife has a lot of plants in the house, so it would be a challenge for me to have my plants and her plants. And as you can see, one of them behind my head back here. I don't know if you see it, but my house is full of plants like that, and I'd rather let her grow, and because I don't need to grow. Yeah. I would like to someday. I will get back into it, and I don't even know where I would start.
But what's your roots in it? Did you start because I was a smoker that moved up to like selling ounces, that started getting pounds, and I was like, I should just start growing this. Got too scared and moved to Denver. Yeah, I was like, I gotta get out the game. What's you're an East Coast guy, right? As I recall, you're a Mass Bowl originally.
Yeah, I grew up in Mass. The first time I smoked weed was 1991. It was some Mexican swag. I was the summer I graduated high school. It wasn't easy to find back then. And then I finally tracked someone down, put $5 in it, and smoked, and nothing happened. I was all paranoid that I was going to smell, so I smoked a cigarette and rode my bike home so I could air out, and nothing happened. And the second time was very similar. And then later on that summer, up at this camp up in New Hampshire, he pulled out a joint and we smoked it, and I felt that warm wave hit me for the first time, and I'll never forget. I'm like, this is fucking pleasant. And then you just start thinking about, like, especially back then, like, what am I missing? Like, what is the bad part that everyone's been telling me and they've been teaching me? And these fucking liars are full of shit here. And that was 1991, and I haven't stopped. So
I'm similar, man. I remember the first time I smoked it, I literally was like, I was flirting with girls at this party. I was like 12, about to turn 13, and these girls are like older, and they're like being weird with me, and I'm high, and I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm 41 now, and I go, shit, that's exactly what I lived up. I've just been smoking weed and chasing pretty girls.
12, 13 the first time you smoked?
Yeah, I was at my best friend's brother's birthday party, and it was one of these. He was like, here, hit this. I go, no. I go, he goes, hit it. And I know this guy since I was 2. It's like my older brother. And on the third time, he goes, hit this. I go, no. He goes, fucking hit it. And I was like, ah. And I just grabbed it and smoked it, and instantly, as soon as it hit, I was like, oh, I feel like okay.
Wow. You get that first experience. So I think it's kind of common. I've heard other people say they'd never felt anything the first couple times
it's
too.
It's very common, in fact.
Never figured out.
Surprising. Yeah, because I got lit. I was worried I was going to swallow my tongue that night.
Wow.
Like, literally, my buddy was like, you're probably going to get cotton mouth. And I kept like feeling like, oh, my mouth is full of cotton. Oh, I got to get it out. And then I'm like about to swallow my tongue. I'm twitching, But yeah, I was a little too young. I took a big break and then started around 13, 14, pretty much daily.
Wow. Damn.
Don't recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little young, but I mean, it worked out fine. I mean, you did lose your hair, but they say
I can't blame weed. I was listening to this old book from like the 30s, and like the guy, science is so backwards. He's like, men lose their hair because they wear hats too tightly. That's why women don't lose their hair. And I was like, wow.
I remember
he said that confidently.
That was a rumor that you heard back in the day. Yeah.
Wow. Nothing to do with dihydrogen testosterone.
It sounds like some of the barber industry put out there to
Big
people
barber.
don't hide your hair. Come get a
Barber.
haircut.
So yeah, when did you start growing after smoking then?
A long time. I didn't start growing until 2019 or 2020 here.
Whoa, so there's why I don't think of you as a grower like as I would other people. I guess you started even after I knew you.
We had young kids in the house for a long time, so it was a deterrent.
Okay.
And now that everyone's older, as soon as the opportunity comes up, I'm on it. But
Wow.
what I've been doing, because I want to smoke some of these strains that I sell, obviously. So I send them to people I know who grow really well, and they send me back some weed. So I do get to sample a lot of. Like last week, I was on Adam Dunn's show, and
I saw, yes.
okay. Earlier in the year, I was as well, and I dropped off some clones in April, and he's been growing them, and I went back to smoke them and check them out. Some of them I hadn't tried before. A lot of them I haven't tried before, but so yeah, that's how I get to try the weed that I sell.
Interesting. So I'm learning right along with everybody else about your history here. So this is fascinating. So you weren't really a grower. How were you so like involved in the genetics world? Like, how did you get all mixed up? Because usually it's just growers that get in that world. How did you find yourself at the center of like the center? Because like Colorado became the center of the world in 2011, 2010-ish, and then you were rolling with that crew. How'd that happen?
You watch it happen. So a lot of it, I don't know exactly how it happened. I was on Facebook, just hanging out with friends from high school. I had like 90 friends, and then at one point I'm like, this is boring as fuck. I left my hometown for a reason. I stopped hanging out with these people for a reason. So I was all private on Facebook, so I just opened it up. And so I was meeting more random people. I wanted to buy a bong. So I went on, I searched for Facebook. I was searching for glass bongs, and I found Sheldon Black had a page, and I saw that they had there's a dispensary here, Verde. They're still around. Chuck.
I know Verde.
He had a Sheldon Black glass shop in there. But anyways, on that page, there was this dude on the glass page. And again, this is Facebook. This is still really new. And if
people can't understand, this is not today's Facebook. There was a time where Facebook was kind of like a little bit more punk rock, a little bit more open. MySpace was still active.
Less rules.
Yes.
So anyways, there's this dude talking. He was like making wise ass funny jokes. And I'm like, this guy sounds like he's from Massachusetts. And then you click on people's names and see where they were from. And he said, I'm like, this dude lives in California, but he's from Massachusetts. How the hell did I know? And I started shooting the shit with him, became friends with him, and started friending a lot of his friends. And at the time, his job was the CEO of Steep Hill Labs in Oakland.
We all know Steep Hill.
This is Addison DeMora.
Yes, we should.
This is Addison DeMora. I just randomly bumped into in the Sheldon Black page, making comments, and luckily was able to link up with him and started friending all his friends. That's how I met Mickey Martin, and it just started from there. I had I started seeing all these people with things for available, and so I just said, well, I could just post that up and be like, hey, if you want it, this guy has it. And I wasn't looking to make any money. I just kind of assumed a position, and I started doing more and more of that, and people started hitting me up and saying, can you get this? Can you get that? And one day someone's just like, this is like Craigslist, but for weed, it's Bikes List. And that was kind of the word for a while. If you need to hit up Bikes List. And I don't know if you remember, I was like selling middling pounds of weed for dispensaries on Facebook, just posting up what was available, and other dispensaries would hit me up and I would link them up, and very rarely make any money off of it, but more and more people were saying my name. So one day, a friend of a friend locally here said, hey man, I see you selling all this stuff. You should come grab some seeds for me and post some seeds up. People would buy them right away. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like people like weed. I don't know what they would do with those seeds. I mean, how many people are growing weed? And then again, early days, I didn't really know what was going on. He's just like,
And so we're
come
talking
down.
like what, 009, 08, somewhere in
This
there,
is
2010,
11.
11. Okay.
Yeah. He's like, come smoke some hash and just see what I have. And I went down and I saw the first seed collection I'd ever seen before. And he had these just shoe boxes full of old breeder packs and sandwich baggies with notes in them or written on them, and big Ziploc bags full of seeds. And he's like, take these. This is what they are. Post them up. Come give me half of the money what you sell. And it was Bubba times OG, male female seeds that he made in Amsterdam a few years before. And I posted them up. People shit their pants. They were gone. I went and got more, and different kinds too. So that's how the whole seeds thing started. We can go to the story about how I stole Seeds Here Now's name if you want to hear that story.
The confusion of it, I never understood who was what, where, and what was what.
I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what I was fucking with. I'll tell you the whole story. I've told the story before. James Bean knows the story, so
Okay.
this isn't anything new. But along those lines, when I'm selling those seeds, I had another buddy come by and say he had a big shoebox full of seeds of what the hell was it? It was obsolete genetics, orange cookies crosses. He's like, take these to Instagram. Everyone is over on Instagram now. This must have been 2012 at this point. And he's like, and I'm just on Facebook, just doing my thing. I went on Instagram a couple times, and I'm like, all these anonymous people, I don't like this. You know, at least on Facebook, you could have someone's name and someone vouching for them, or like you said, it's a small group of people. At the end of the day, we all know someone who knows someone. So I was hesitant about getting on there, but this guy had all these seeds. He's like, go on there and sell these. Trust me. So I didn't know what the hell Instagram really was going on over there. I searched for seed banks. I don't know how I found. I mean, of course, Seeds Here Now was like the biggest, and they were around back then. So I said, all right, I'm going to make an account that sounds like that, so other people looking for seeds will buy my seeds. Clueless to how the whole fucking thing works.
It's a story as old as time.
And then I don't know how, I guess people started sharing it because there weren't a lot of people selling seeds back then. I started selling seeds faster and faster. And the Get Seeds Right Here Instagram was not supposed to be a thing. It was supposed to be the shoebox and then gone. But then I kept getting more and more seeds, and they were so easy to sell. I stopped selling weed for the most part. And I wasn't really selling weed. I was selling slabs back then. That's when shatter was a thing.
So here's a video I was mentioning from your Instagram over there. Get Seeds Right Here 3.0, part of the 3.0 gang.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I lost one. It's funny. I got the original account back like a month ago.
Look at that. You got Chemdog Glass leaving a comment there. Shout out to the homie.
This facility is in Rhode Island.
Okay. It's beautiful. I was just looking at it and just thinking, like, holy crap. It reminded me of a library. It's like you go in with your like Dewey Decimal System. It's like fucking fingering through. It's like, all right, what do we got here?
I own the URL Library of Clones. It's funny you say that.
No shit. See what I'm saying, Mike? I'm living in this weird coincidental. Any one of these coincidences is explainable away, but like 20 a day for like 8 fucking years is like getting me like weirded out. Too much DMT, buddy. Too much DMT.
This tells you you're on the right path, and there's more to come.
I'm telling you, man. There's a funny video. It's like, I'm wearing dark glasses because I'm seeing the future, and it's very bright. The director of Blue Velvet and Dune. I'm blanking on his name right now.
So
Follow me on Instagram. Follow me and Bike on Instagram.
please,
Get seeds right here.
3.0.
3.0.
or without the 3.0 as well. That can't exist.
Nice. Yeah. Because that's the thing. I do get a lot of questions about clones. And it's like my buddy JR Token, he's out there in Oregon, and he's got a little clone shop he does. And he does these hardcore, like, crew phenos. He acquires, like, he's got this emergency strain that I fucking love. And he's got like this Kaiju Kush from Brad at Raw. And he'll usually keep like 5 or 6 things. And so I'll usually be like, I don't know if I can go hit up JR, So now you'll be in my roster of people to start sending people to, because I get a lot of questions. Where do you get, like, for me, I'm on this path of like, I want the lemon G. I want the original lemon G. I want that Ohio shit. I want the real stuff. And like I'm just putting it out there in the I put out in the universe. I wanted the real Chem 4. And then I'm in a room with P-Bud one day. He's like, I can get you the Chem 4. And I was like, oh, thanks, universe.
It's funny how that works. Yeah. It's funny when you say that. Now that I'm like thinking about it, I don't know how people choose what to grow when there's 600 strains available. I mean, unless you look for something specific, I have to come up with a better way to list my clones so people have I'm in the middle of doing it, but just have a better idea of what they're getting when they get it. Because a lot of these strains people never heard of. It has runts in it or it has skills in it. They know that, so they're more open to it. I think the more popular shit with names, people are more comfortable buying because they know it's a thing. But if I put up stuff that I have a few strains that no one's ever heard of from small breeders that they never heard of, they just don't sell. They got to have some coolness behind it from some sort of hype.
Yeah, I always go with the parents, like that's always my thing. Like I'll grow anything if the parents are right, if you tell me it's got this and that in it. Like I become a GMO whore in the last. Jaron from 5'8", he does this interesting thing where he takes his GMO with the winter frost, is like an early senescer. It's like a plant senescer, and so it'll get them to like ripen early. And so he'll take these like 15-week, whatever with veg, whatever they are, 12-week GMO strains, and he'll cut them at 8 with winter. And they get these super oniony, like nasty onion terps that are really interesting. And so I've been very fascinated with like things like that of like you're probably the third person in a row that I've had on the stream about genetics. I had Duke Diamond on last week, and
I saw that. Great show.
Someone else before that. It's how funny is Duke?
He's hysterical. Yeah, your character.
When he was like, "Oh, you got russets? You need cow mag, dog."
Sure.
I was.
He's quick. He's quick. What are you growing?
So I'm actually in the process of moving right now. My last harvest was my final harvest. So my buddy JLS Monster with Threes Genetics, he gave me some. It was a laser cat, had their laser jet cut, and then he mixed that with his modified moose from their company. I called it the Laser Moose. And yeah, grew up the laser moose. It wasn't the exact terps that I love. I'm a gas whore. I'm a onion, a funk and fuel sort of guy. So anything in that sort of like Durban-y, Island Sweet Skunk, anything in that camp, the Jacks, I tend to, any of the hazes, I tend to veer away from. So it wasn't my exact terp profile, but before that, I'd grown that emergency from JR Token, and dear God, the fan leaves had trikes. I had sugar fan leaves.
Oh, you grew with the emergency?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite plants I've grown. I end up making rosin out of it. It's a washer, or it's a blaster, not a washer. So I definitely made the wrong move on the return, but made some good rosin.
I bet. So, I mean, what have you been growing before you moved? Was it your last grow? Was it just the emergency?
Yeah, for the last, since I got divorced in 2022, and ever since then I've just been thank you. I've been doing the a hot brunette from Kansas. I mean, sorry, I've been doing tents now, and so I went from.
I know I hear it all about your road trips.
All right. My man, I love you, Mike. And so when I met you at that time, like when I hooked in, we'll have to get to John Doe and how you got there eventually. But when I looked up with you, I was doing an 18 lighter flip, 2 rooms of 9 lights, and we just maxed out our 99 in a room. And my
Good old
friend who
days.
brought me to Colorado, he was Johnny. Do you know Johnny Malaysian? Do you ever know that name? Johnny
Yeah,
M.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
always okay because you guys know it. I got a text from Gabe last night, and it was from Johnny, where it's like, "Is that Josh?" And I was like, "Oh shit, Johnny, that's the homie from Iowa." And
Yeah,
so he brought all of us here to run houses, and we were like the front family, you know.
that's
And
awesome.
so yeah, that's obviously quiet. I wasn't saying that on air at the time,
Sure.
but
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the 99 days, holy shit, when you could stack 5.
yeah,
That was
we had we had 2 stacks.
yeah, I mean,
So that's
shit.
interesting. So I moved here in 2015, and so one of my like kind of boner like nostalgia things is like, oh, I just missed the backpack days, and that's essentially like you. Not only were you like you weren't backpacking, obviously, but you were like meddling. You could like sell pounds to dispensaries or for dispensaries. What was that like? What was the weed scene like when it was just the Wild West? Tell
I,
us, Mike.
I was not involved with it then, but I know people who were and heard lots of stories where, like, I know people who ran a medical dispensary down on South Broadway where, Broadsterdam. Remember that area?
Broadsterdam. Holy shit, I forgot about
When there
Broadsterdam.
was like 20 dispensaries literally on like a 2-block radius. Um,
Yeah.
and he said that there were so many people bringing in weed for them to check out and buy that he would take a sample and give write their phone number on a ticket and then give them the other ticket like a raffle, and he would either call them to come get their money or come take your weed away. It was like a wait to have your weed looked at, but and then the cars started getting showing up with out-of-state plates. Because Colorado was the hotspot. People from Washington were driving down hockey bags full of pounds and going dispensary to dispensary.
That's so cool.
Some people used to show up with the briefcase handcuffed to their wrists and with all their samples and stuff. It was the Wild West. It was crazy.
It was Wild West for real.
I'll never forget the first time I was at a friend's medical grow, and it was just in a room she had, and the neighbors called the police, and the police came, and we all were shitting our pants because we were in a weed house, and the police were there. She had her medical card, and she opened the door, and they were like, "Sorry to bother you," and it was the first time the cops were ever just like apprehensive about bothering us because
Wow.
she had a red card, a medical card, and it was new to them, and they were having
Back
trouble.
when it was actually red.
And it was like a car title back in the day. So
Yeah.
the police were having trouble
Tack
with
it on the wall.
having trouble with like busting people, and it was medicine. So some people were suing, and then the police had to pay, and so they were very careful about not taking plants or not taking. They just let people have the stuff. But the first time you're in a house and that happens, everything changes. You feel a freedom that you never felt before, and you want to figure out how to take advantage of it. And we did. We all did. We all did.
Oh my God. Just for that era, my favorite story that came out of the 5/8 world there, Bo and Lee and Jaron and Gabe and all those guys, they're talking some story. And there was an office building in Denver that like you'd be on like floor 14 and it's like offices, like normal copy machines, floor 16 normal. And then you'd open up floor 15 was a grow in an office building just on like the 16th floor.
Genius.
What?
Yeah. People with big balls came here and did things that we didn't know could be done. I never heard that story. That's awesome. You do hear some crazy shit from stories like that, but that's, do those people get busted or the police not want to fuck with them too?
That was the end of the story. I'll have to ask the next time.
Yeah.
Because usually they just get better places. They were hanging lights anywhere. You know, we rented the most beautiful house in Denver and gutted the goddamn thing. We ripped all the carpet out of the freaking house. You
Yep,
know, it was mania.
that's why when you rent a house in Colorado now, with big bold letters at the top of the lease, it says no marijuana growing is allowed anywhere on this property. Any lease you sign,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
have to just for their insurance reasons.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was I'd go for walks back in the day. It still is till this day. You go for walks, you'll smell grows and everything, but it was so much fun. I just missed the backpack days. I just missed all that. So I moved here right at 2015, coming up on my 10 year. That's crazy. 10 years
Wow,
flies.
that was quick.
Yeah, that was quick. And so what led you then? So I guess like it's so interesting. You and Tim Martin could not be more different in personality, especially back then. What led you? Because I'm seeing the roots now. You're getting loud. You're talking on Facebook. You're kind of becoming the hub of this kind of Denver wheel that's going around. And so you're about to get real loud as far as I'm concerned. I was in Des Moines, Iowa listening, buddy.
I
So
was
what
I
led
was
you
just
to Tim and JDR?
I was being a wise, just a friendly wise ass, just like being a typical masshole, but on Facebook. So it was projected a little bit louder and more people could see it. So it was like it was performance, just getting laughs. And I would say some ridiculous shit sometimes. Nothing. I mean, maybe it would be offensive, but nothing. You know, nothing to make you want to call the police or like have me checked on. So just
It was a different time back then. You could be a little bit more risque than you can these
you
days.
could. Yeah. There was probably some posts I made back then you couldn't make today, and they're still on
Oh,
Facebook if you scroll back far enough. But yeah, it was just mostly wise ass shit, and that's what got Tim's attention. Um, I went to a party and met Tim for the first time. I was going to meet Matt Rise and Brittany Wagner. I don't know if you remember those guys. And Tim was there, and that's the first time I met Tim. And it didn't take long for him to hit me up and say, I want to start doing the show again. Do you want to come hang out and make fun of me? Not so many words. And I mean, he knew it was coming. He knew what I did. He only saw it on Facebook. He never really got it in person, so it was a little abrasive to him sometimes. It was a little hard for him to take me, and I get it. But it was a good time. It was 3 hours a day live, and I'd never done anything like that. It was so far outside my comfort zone. Here, go ahead and play some.
yes. This was so here's me. I'm working at an ice rink in Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm scared to grow in Iowa because I know I'm gonna get pinched, and like friends of mine are going down. The writing's on the wall. And I was like, I'm gonna become a cannabis refugee, and I'm gonna leave my birth home of Des Moines, Iowa at 38, and I'm gonna haul up my whole life, my girlfriend, my mom, my dogs, everyone's coming with, and I'm setting up like the Beverly fucking Hillbillies in Denver. And all the while, I'm listening to John Doe Radio and Dude Grows Show and Adam Dunn Show. And it's all this like Denver. It seems so awesome. And now I never listened through video. It's so funny to be in the business of like podcasting now. It's so like terrestrial. So I told you, I asked you, are you still living in your old place? You used to talk about Crown Burger, my
Oh
friend,
yeah.
and you made it sound like I remember being in Iowa, just going, Crown Burger. And now I live by Crown Burger, and I couldn't give two shits, But at
Yeah,
that
you get over
time,
it pretty quick. Yeah,
you
you
get
get
over
over
it
it pretty
pretty
quick.
quick. Yeah.
It's an interesting place. There's not a lot of places that serve pastrami on top of a cheeseburger
Yeah. And baklava for
on
dessert.
the counter. Yeah, it's angry Greek women serving you cheeseburgers and baklava.
It's so good. Recommend
Yeah.
Crown Burger on Colorado Boulevard. Yeah,
South
I
Colorado
remember.
Boulevard. Yeah.
Oh,
When was the
here's a
last
here's
time you
a
ate
here's a
there?
ring. Did you ever go to iBake Bike? I've been to iBake. I tell you.
The I Bake. Well, I never went. I always
No.
heard about it.
Wow. It was obviously you heard about it. It was for the everyone listening. It was it was one of the first cannabis lounges, if you want to call it. It was kind of shady, a little bit dirty. It was over on Washington, right where I lived. I lived off 70th, 84th in Washington.
It was like
where my trap house
unincorporated Adams
was.
County, right?
Which is why I lived there, because it was unincorporated Adams County, a place
And
where getting busted with a giant illegal grow was a little bit.
a little
You were
softer.
rolling with Warren Edson at that time. Tim was living with Warren Edson.
Oh,
Warren
wow.
was part of drafting these laws. I remember just always listening. And
it was always bad news coming from whatever Warren had to say. It was never, oh yeah, good news. It was always like the worst case scenario. That's why he was a good attorney. You want a guy who's going to tell you how it is and not feed you some bullshit. So no matter how bad it sucks to hear it. But yeah, that was where did you didn't do it at the law office with us, were you? You were at.
I was doing it at the green. What was the?
Yes, the office, that like community office thing. It's not there anymore. Green
Synergy. Green Synergy.
Green something, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Wow.
Cultivated Synergy. Was that what it was?
No.
I'm blanking. But yeah,
it was green something though. But yeah,
it was where Adam had his studio, and it was when Mitch was still. Yeah, we have to break in every now and then. Remember feeding Tim through the upper window because we got locked out.
Because we're locked out.
Yeah.
Wow, epic. And then it went from. That's where like JDR turned into the Adam Dunn Show at the law office. That's where the Adam Dunn Show was born.
I remember that was right in that era. I discovered all of you guys. I started listening. I just, I produce Dude Grows now. I just put out show like 1698. And I remember I started listening to them on episode 12.
Wow.
Dude Grows Show 12. And then John Doe Radio live. What were you doing every day? Was it Monday to Friday?
Yeah, 3 hours Monday through Friday.
Oh my God.
I went from never
such an
doing
awesome
that
time.
I went from never doing that to doing that. And it was weird. I never thought about anyone listening, honestly. I thought I was just talking to Tim, which is the only way I could do it, I guess.
That's how you have to do it. Yeah. You have to go blank.
Yeah, it worked. It was fun until it wasn't. And then I had to go. But yeah, I credit Tim for like, that changed a lot of things for me, like being put in that position where you have to talk for 3 hours a day. I was never like that. So that was cool to be able to have that exercise for, I have no idea how long we did it for. I didn't look at the world different after that. And a lot more people knew me, which was cool, helped me sell seeds. That's how I met Adam. And at the time, it's funny, I didn't really know. I saw some people getting excited that Adam Dunn was coming to town. And I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't know who he was. And I liked his little seed packs in the book that I thought was cool. And I didn't really know too much about him. And then I heard that he's a guy who made bubble gum. And I'm like, oh, that's the first time I ever smoked weed and had a panic attack. It was from smoking bubble gum.
Wow. One of my first dabs was sage. Funnily enough.
Oh, no shit. That's funny.
I remember having to sit down and like think about what I've done to myself. It's like, dude, I feel too high.
It's funny you say that because I wouldn't have thought of it, but my first dab was sage too. And the only reason I remember it is because remember Kind Reviews?
I think so.
You know Rye Pritchard?
Oh, yes. We hung out at MJ BizCon last year. He's a good friend of Gabe.
Sure. Yes. Rye was working for this website at the time called Kind Reviews, and he needed people to review shit for him. And my friend, our mutual friend, said, let me hook you up. And he did. And I was supposed to have a red card to do it, obviously, to make it legal. He couldn't just give it to it was medical, so he couldn't just give it to a person. So I'm like, yeah, I get my red card. I'll bring it next week. And I didn't have it, but he still gave it to me, and I did the review. And then the review was so horrible. He's like, I can't even use this. Like, Because I had no idea really how to review any weed. I was just excited to get some free dabs.
Of course.
I think I could find it on my Facebook. It said sage dabs or sage wax or something. But yeah, it happened. I never.
Earwax.
Yeah, I remember flipping through the Westward when I first got here in 2007, and you'd see like tiny little ads that said Dr. MMJ doctor visits $500 or $700, and just every week that the Westward would get a little bit thicker, a little bit thicker. This is still the black and white days. But I remember seeing an ad in black and white that said earwax, $80 a gram. And I'm like, what the fuck is this earwax shit?
Wow.
And then it became something I smoked every day. Earwax.
I know, right? It's like now we call it batter, Mike. I smoked a good fine batters.
Cold cure raw, please.
Ah, yes. It is it's funny to be in this world where like literally everywhere I go is just vape pens, like Green Dot. Shout out to Green Dot, fucking Green Dot Dave holding it down for Colorado. This is the best commercial hash oil that you're gonna find commercially, in my opinion.
Do you remember the Kind Love Green Dot days?
No, I live because I live on Colorado Boulevard, so I still go to Kind Love quite often. They're open until midnight. You can get medical at 11 o'clock.
That's awesome.
Crazy. Yeah.
So, in the early days, in Denver at least, Green Dot was only available at Kind Love, and you could only get it on the drop day because it would sell out fast. And this is when they were in those black Mylars. It was sappy shatter, snap and pull, like you could smell it. But people started lining up outside Kind Love. There was a line for the Green Dot drops, and it got to the point where like they had to expand. The demand was so big. If you wanted shit as good as Green Dot back then, you had to go to Boulder. That was the only other option. And guess what? Green Dot is out of Boulder.
Right. Yeah.
So they're the first to branch out. But the Greenest Green, Brad from 710 Labs, before 710 Labs was a thing, his Nug Run was legendary. It was just... we were used to trim run. That's all you could get for the most part. Shatter because it was all just butane and trim. And they started running nugs. It was sappier and it smelled like weed or candy, more like, but it didn't smell like nothing like shatter does. All sealed up. But speaking of Lemon G, that's where probably the first Lemon G dabs I had, and probably what got me sick of them back in the day.
How dare you? How dare you?
Well,
I was banging this Megan Fox girl. I was so sick of it.
That Lemon G, it smells like lemon, but it also has like a body odor background.
It's an offensive, dead, like a rotting
something.
It's not lemon. It's rotten.
It makes the lemon not as enjoyable to me, at least. But back in those days, lemon, I got poisoned by Lemon G, Tangy, Durban, and Flow. Island Sweet Skunk as well. And I didn't really so now I don't even want to smoke anything with orange in it. I'm sure there's a lot of people from Denver medical days.
There is a ton of people from Denver medical. It's so funny how like the different eras, because I'm just after. So for me, it's that Island Sweet Skunk. It's the Durban. It's the Flow. The Flow OG. Whoa. I called it the Flug. Dude, I smoked so much of the Flug.
The Flow OG is fucking fantastic, but
I love it. But
I don't like Flow by itself. The Flow OG has like a black licorice flavor to it.
See, for me, I'm more softened to the Flow than the. I still call it the Flug. We all called it the Flug. The Flug.
There was the Flotica. Remember Flotica? That was it was around when you were here. that was just like a flow indica cross that was just killer from the medical days.
Crazy.
Did you ever get Cold Creek Kush back in the day?
Oh yeah. That was I don't remember. It was Nicotine who was putting out a lot of that stuff, but it was getting Cole from somewhere. I don't remember.
Yeah, Pink House.
Pink House, yeah, for sure. Pink House, that was the most unique era. Pink House was just a house, and you just go to like a house, and there's a lot of
one
that
location
business.
that was a house. I
Yeah,
went
the
to the one
main
that
one.
was in that little office park in Cherry Creek.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, I always went to the house, the actual one.
I've been to the house. That was cool. When there was a few house dispensaries in Denver back in the day.
Yeah, there's a
Literal
lot
just
of
houses.
office like businesses like there. I went to get an IV like at one of these like IV places. It was just in a house. That's like a common Denver. It's Colorado in general, but yeah,
Now they come
interesting.
to your house.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I love the IVs. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. I'll post pictures of me getting recreational IVs, but
you get
I
like a
think
Myers.
every 6 months I'll just go get fucking just some vitamins and some saline, and some
Get them.
CB12 and whatnot.
Ask them for a Myers cocktail next time.
A Myers, okay.
Yes. Yeah,
What's
they'll
that
know
get
what.
you?
They'll think you're fancy. They'll know what you're talking about, and you'll feel great.
All right,
It's like $200.
the heroin.
Yeah. The heroin is no charge.
That's crazy. So yeah, during the time I knew you, I was struggling to get off of. That's what made me and Tim linking up was just like a nightmare. He and I never crossed our drug swords. He was like sober while I was turbo dirty. I was trying to escape from my drug habit during that time, and so when I look back to those times, I was strung out. I hated that era.
I don't think he was sober when he was doing JDR.
Not completely. Wait, was he drinking? I think he was off pills at least. Or maybe not.
I can't say for sure, but I know he wasn't sober.
Yeah, I was his ride essentially. I would drive to Morrison and go pick him up, and that was my role.
Yeah,
but I was hungry to get in this cannabis meat. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to smoke weed and talk into a mic. That's all I knew.
And I heard you say recently, yeah, you were a producer of JDR, but you didn't know what the hell you were doing. You didn't know how to produce. You just figured it out.
I wasn't even really the producer. Tim was the producer. I don't really know what my role was other than picking him up.
He couldn't he couldn't give up control that easy. Wait, were you there in the era where we were live on the air and I convinced him he was on acid?
No, I remember this lore, but that was before my time.
I don't know how it happened, but like I had a glass of water. We were live on a Sunday. This is when we were on weekends. And I was talking and he's like, I'm gonna grab a sip of your water. And I let him like put it up to his mouth, and as soon as he did, I'm like, no, drink that. Dude, there's acid in there. That's all I had to say. And 5 minutes later, he was having a bad trip.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Tim went through struggles, we'll say.
It was good. It was good radio, whatever it was. It was good YouTube.
Oh my God.
Yeah, people saw it. I don't remember it.
That's so fucking funny. Yeah, the old episodes, man, they're still available. I don't know how relevant to the modern age is, but if you're a guy like me, I didn't pick Denver out of a hat. I knew I was going to leave Iowa. I wanted to go somewhere, and I knew I wanted to come to Denver. I loved everything about it. So I became obsessed with all of this cannabis media of you guys, D-Bros and Adam.
How did you find JDR?
Literally just typing the word cannabis into fucking
YouTube?
whatever the hell. Not even YouTube. I was just downloading the podcast. I would just listen to audio. So I didn't even really know what you guys looked like until
that's funny.
I got going. I would just listen to earbuds. Rogan was on episode like 150. I remember it was like the era, to give context, podcastually, of when you guys were doing that live show. Rogan was in the hundreds, episode 500. He had just started his thing. It was this new era. It was just wide open.
Internet one, compared to what it is now. It's not the same internet.
Yeah, it definitely see. I always tell people, so remember when there was a time like it was like internet forums and stuff. There's a time where the internet wasn't really that toxic. It was kind of nice. Everyone was pretty chill, and it was all positive vibes. And then Facebook happened, and then everything started going downhill slowly. But there was that time.
change. It did change. It got more crowded, and with everything you get, with everything that grows, you get the good and you get more of the bad. And,
Yes. I taught myself to grow I had the good old boy Iowa lessons of how to grow, just throw CalMag on it. That was essentially the method of those days. And so I credit, all you guys weren't really a grow show. I was more fascinated. You guys did the news culture, everything. It wasn't like how to grow in cocoa, with these 3 easy steps. But
sure.
I loved everything about it. And I picked up a lot of stuff. Like I think I remember I learned about nectar from the gods from your guys' show. You were just talking about nectar for the gods, and I messaged them for samples and paid the shipping. And
I can remember Tim talking about them for sure. Yeah, Tim, had some grow experience, but yeah, we definitely did not talk about growing unless we had growers on, and then I just sat there and didn't say anything because I didn't know shit about growing. But
fascinating.
That's probably why Dude Grows took off so well, because there was no grow shows back then.
Yes.
Adam's show isn't specifically about growing. It's about everything cannabis. It's like the museum of cannabis, really.
Which he ran, the Hash Museum, famously.
He's doing it live on the radio and keeping it going. So yeah, I forget what I was saying.
Well, so we're at JDR. We know that Tim has fallen off,
So I left, and then I went back. I mean, years later when we came back. So that's when you were on.
That's when I showed
up.
After the revival. He had rebooted it. Yes.
And then I know he was going to try to do it again. He still may. I don't know. It's a lot of work.
Messaged him. I got on Discord and messaged him, and I was like, "Hey, man, I actually have like a little bit of a platform brewing, between all the different pies I have my hands in." I was like, "I got a little thing. Like, it'd be a perfect It would almost be like the full circle of now we bring Tim and Bike back, baby. JDR's back."
Did you get a reply from him?
Yeah, he's just not. Yeah, I don't know. He's not active on his Discord. That's the only place I would know to chat with him.
Well, yeah, I hit him up once in a while. I guess to get a text from him. Really, he's been quiet this year. But
if you talk to him, tell him I exist and I love him.
I'm gonna reach out. I'm sure you get a kick out of hearing that you and I linked up again.
Yeah, it's amazing to me the full circle. Like I had no clue. Like I said, I didn't know what the hell I was doing sitting with you guys. I just knew like a moth to flame. I was like cannabis and talking, and I want to do it. And damned if I didn't.
So I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago when I was like in the grow a lot, I started listening to a lot of YouTube shows, and whenever I stumbled upon Jug Dealers and started hearing Grambo, every time I hear them say Grambo, I was like, like a dog who hears like something like,
right.
And then when I finally all kicked in, because I'm not paying attention fully, I'm working, and I was just like, oh my god, why did it take me that long to realize it? And then, because I knew Gabe was, obviously his face is there, but your face isn't on the show.
Yeah.
So then Kyle was just like, oh, I was on GRAMBO show, and I was like, he's got his own fucking show? Okay. So that's when I saw him on it, and that's when I've been watching ever since.
This channel, we have so there's a team at Dude Grows, right? So then like Scott's got his marketing guy that helps him with stuff, High C. Yeah. And so we'll always have like disagreements on like things. And so this channel was made as like an I'll fucking dude, I guarantee this will work. And my second video got 90,000 views, and I just didn't make another one. So like you'll notice my channel only has 3 videos, and that's because I just wanted to prove No, dude, this is how it fucking works. Like, you can get a channel banging in 2 videos. 2 videos is all it needs. And then I proved my point. They showed me respect in our meetings, and I was like, all right. And now I do the live stream, late night smoke. It's not a grow show. It's just hang out with my friends. I'm blessed to have awesome weed friends, and I'd put you right at the top of that, Mike. You guys, even though you didn't know you were giving me my start, that was like a with you guys. You didn't feel it. Gives me perspective on me, right? I looked at you guys like you were these like you're the Walter Cronkite of goddamn cannabis media, right? You didn't feel like that. So when I
No,
walk through my life, I feel just like small Grambo. I'm just some schmuck. But then there's people who look at me like I'm awesome, and it's
your
all like it's so
chat.
fun.
I don't know which direction it's in, but your chat loves you, dude. They're constantly talking you up. So
I am blessed. Everyone in this fucking literally, as you say that, it's like, thank you, Smoke Slut. I'm blessed to. I cut my teeth doing stand up for 7 years. October was my 7 year anniversary of doing
are you
stand
still
up.
doing it?
So Jug Dealers and Dude Grows is soaking up a lot of my
I
time, but
bet.
I'm specifically moving to like over off of like, 6th and Broadway
So you
to
can
like
walk
have
to a spot if you wanted.
so I can go to all the mics and I can get back. Cause yeah, it's really fun, but it's really hard. It really is the hardest
People have no
art
idea.
form.
If you're doing 3 podcasts, uh, that's eight. That's 8 full-time jobs right there, and then you want to go do stand-up on top of it, and then
Yeah,
you got to
it's
drive to Kansas.
just to the border. We meet on the border.
Oh,
Literally,
that's
it's like
cool.
neutral. I always say it's like Highlander, or it's like I'll meet you on the border and no farther.
That's cool. Kansas.
Yeah, I was at
Um,
the Dude Grows Cup, our event, and you got to come hang out. If you're, it's up in just south of Fort Collins. Come hang out this year, man.
what is
It's
it?
awesome. It's a June 7th, Saturday,
I'll be
June
there.
7th. Fuck yeah, man! You'll be my guest of honor, man. It would be
Cool.
because here's the thing that might be a fascinating. I wouldn't imagine you would have ever heard it. You guys, Brett from Dude Grows hooked up with you guys at Carnival. You remember the Carnival
Yep.
Festival, and
Yeah.
you guys were live. And so I said at the beginning of the show, what kind of the true inspiration of Dude Grows was Howard Stern, Joe Rogan, and John Doe Radio. It's very interesting. You wouldn't think, but listening to John Doe was one of the first things that gave Brett the idea. Oh, I wish they'd talk about grow more. I should do a podcast
No
about grow
shit.
stuff. Yeah, very
That's
interesting.
awesome.
So for all the Dude Grows fans, if you're wondering why I have this like fanning of Bike, it's because dude, Bike is a fucking legend in this game, like right up there with Adam. Just because you're not on the mic currently, this is why I was very stoked to reintroduce you to the world. If you're not on the mic, people forget. They forget that everyone
For
gives me like,
sure.
oh, Grambo's out there doing it. I'm just in front of the camera, man. I look at guys like you and P Bud and all of the class. I don't even know who I should name because I don't know who wants named and who doesn't in this modern era, but
I
all
mean,
the cool fun kids.
it happened back in the day, like a window of time that will never be repeated. Facebook just happened. Like MySpace had died, and Facebook was just starting to become a thing, and weed was legal, medical, and becoming legal, and everyone was looking at Denver, and they had Facebook as a way to look at Denver. So, that never happened anywhere else. I mean, I don't think Washington, who legalized at the same time, I don't think they had the same Facebook scene that we did.
Well, they dropped the ball. I came to Denver on legalization day. I stood in the line. I was probably like the 500th person in
Where'd you
America.
go?
I went to the Green Solution. There were 6 dispensaries, and then I worked at Green Solution as my first ever. When I got badged, they gave me my first bud tending job, which I quit very fast.
You know,
God
they were nicknamed the Green Pollution back in the day.
The greed pollution, as I
They had those
heard it.
flaming dabs. You remember William Breeze?
Yeah.
In the Westward, he had a video. He put a rig down, and there was a hot nail, and he put their orange shatter on it, and it just burst into flames. Um, so they had a bad reputation,
Yeah.
but they're still around. They're right down the street from me here.
Yeah, because I worked there, it was like a cult. You had to be indoctrinated about like there was six brothers and they all yada yada. Well, Google's a thing, and I'm just a cunt. And so like I looked up their story, and it turns out it's like, oh, their dad is like the biggest Denver real estate. We proudly have the most locations. Oh, I wonder how. With your rich daddy with his freaking gifts,
That's funny. I think there's
The
another.
Spidell brothers sold it, and so now it's if it wasn't corporate before, it's corporate now.
There's another chain in Denver that has like a very similar story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're still around.
that's how you get in it, right? It's all opportunity.
It's money, yeah. The easy way, at least.
That's what's funny in this modern conversation. There's like two groups of people about legalization. How do you feel about legalization? Obviously, like decriminalization would be like the optimal situation, but that's not going to happen. Like practically, I'll see comments like weed's going to be so expensive, only the elites will be able to afford it. And then the next comment will be like, weed's going to be worthless soon, and you can't be paid to grow it. How do you feel about legalization, Mike? Is it good? Is it bad? What other than just decriminating it, which is like something that's not going to happen, but would solve a lot of problems. What do you think about it? We live in this post-election world right now. Everyone's asking.
Unstable, yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up, smoking weed with my friends in Massachusetts and jokingly talking about, imagine if you could go to a store and just buy it. Like, this is 25 years ago. Not thinking that any of that would ever be possible be in reality, all the way up to 2007 when I moved here. I didn't move here because of weed. There's no dispensaries here when I moved here.
Okay.
I didn't move here for a weed job. And all of a sudden, within the first year of being here, I saw these green crosses started popping up. That dispensary green color, neon green.
In Europe, actual hospitals have the green cross. So if you're a stoner in Europe, those are not dispensaries. Those are real hospitals. The
For
green
now,
cross has
yeah.
become, yeah.
So yeah, I started seeing more and more dispensaries, and I never thought it would ever be real. So I don't see why we can't have legalization some way that's not restricted. I mean, we did it medically. Why can't we just figure out a fucking way to do it nationally, and where the government gets a little bit of money and leaves us alone?
That's the fantasy. Thing is if we could just have home grow. Like in Canada, they call them the Freedom 4 up there. You get 4 plants. Is that optimal? No, that sucks. But can you grow more than 4 up there? I bet you can. And no one's gonna harass you, As long as we had something like that, who gives a shit? Let the greed pollution take over the whole, because the market, like the craft beer market here in Colorado has stabilized. You can go get a preposterously expensive pint somewhere, and you can go to nickel beer night somewhere else, and everyone's right where they need to be. Weed'll figure that out, So
you can still grow 12 plants with medical.
That's nice. 12 is also. I remember when 12 came out after growing, almost 100 plants at one time.
Sad.
Unfair, but
it sounded. Yeah, it was like what? Why even bother?
Why even bother?
And then and then it was like, okay, I'm stoked to have 12. 12 is a lot for one person.
12 is a lot. Definitely. Obviously there's all the arguments. You can't pheno hunt, you can't do it. But once it's legal, no one's gonna be
people pheno hunt with 3 seeds, man.
Yeah. That's one of the things I was talking with Duke about, is just about like genetic structure and pheno hunting and everything. What is your process like? So we talked about it just in the beginning, so we'll go back full circle and we'll end with kind of a plug for everyone, because not even a plug, this is actually a service that needs done. There's not many people that I would say like I had my buddy Cortez the Conqueror from Chicago. He's a YouTuber guy and an awesome dude, and he's been having a hard time finding Blue Dream. And so like you brought up Blue Dream, and I was like, so I don't know if you have it right now. Well, I'll tell him, hey, my buddy Bike has has nothing to do with James Bean. Go hit him up.
I set up a coupon code for you guys too.
Oh yeah, what do we got?
Well, this is it doesn't sound like a lot, but I'll tell you what, my clone, are you familiar with my clone pricing structure? Probably not. I'll tell you. If you buy one, 2, or 3 clones, it's $99 per clone. Shipping's free. If you get one more, if you get 4, the price drops down to $69 each. At 8, they drop to 64, all the way down to $39 at 100. So they're pretty low anyways, but I have, that's why 10% doesn't sound like a lot, but it goes pretty far when you go up, when you get a bunch and it drops down the price. So where is it here? Just use code Zamboni for 10% off.
You son of a bitch.
At getseizrighthere.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll put that up there. Zamboni.
And I'll be adding new stuff next week, and then a Black Friday sale comes up. It'll be definitely worth checking out. There's going to be all sorts of crazy package deals, but I'm not going to keep advertising. Let's keep talking. Keep going.
Well, because actually this is the thing, less than an advertising. I'm actually curious of like, what is the genetics going into 2025? I'm not necessarily, I'm like you. I like older stuff. I can't speak for you. I'm projecting on you. I like the older
You're
stuff.
right.
I like that
right.
the Chem 4s and the things that I grew up with. I have nostalgia for it. The original, like pre-98, all these things I grew up, the Cindy 99, the original white. Like, I love these old strains.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You should check
out. What's
the,
not going into 2025?
I want to say people are starting to buy more older stuff, but it's still the same. It's a good split. People are still liking new stuff. Believe it or not, like I would say, Green Crack and Permanent Marker are probably my best sellers of the last year or two. They sell consistently. People love the Green Crack. Adam Dunn just grew it. We smoked some last week. It's one that people are familiar with. So a lot of people don't know about newer strains. So when they hear names of newer strains, they might be a little bit hesitant. I know I am. If I don't know what the cross is, poke around and see what you can find in the clone section. But I was going to suggest to you checking out one called Garlic Breath.
Yes, I had some Jaron from 5'8". He grew some garlic breath and gave me he had some garlic cocktail no, it wasn't Jaron. I got it from when I was in San Francisco. Heritage had it. I think Heritage Seed Company had some.
Okay. I don't know the seed company. I was going to say nowadays the most garlic breath most people think is the Thug Pug. Is the most common one around. The one I have is an older one, the original. That's Hog's Breath times Chem D.
Okay.
It's not related to the Thug Pug one, so it's older genetics. It's even older than the Thug Pug. I mean, and you like older stuff too, and you like the garlic stuff. And Chem D.
I love that stuff. I remember the first time I found some GMO cookies, my girlfriend came home and thought there was a fire in the grow. So it smells like burning weed plastic. I was like, I know, it's great.
How long do you let GMO go?
Well, I was growing the what was it? Is Ethos, I think, had a GMO something cross. So I never grew the GMO proper. And this GMO cross, I can't remember what it was, something from Colin. I can't recall.
GMO
but
Skittles?
It was that's what it was. It was the GMO Skittles. And it was 8 weeks, 9 weeks, I think 9.5 is what I'd take it to. And I didn't know any of the winter frost technology sort of shit, which is very fascinating. I don't know if you you never mind. I was about to say we've already gone over.
I've heard about it. Is it like a sulfur product?
No, it's very weird. So there's like nothing like it in the industry. It's just like I don't even know much about it because it's super secret. Fucking, their proprietary bullshit. And I'm not a chemist, but yeah, it's just a senescer. It literally tells the roots that's like, hey, we're shutting down. So it starts its natural ripening process at that point, rather than so you can take these long sativa strains and stuff and finish them, and you get new expressions out of it. It's not worse. It's just different. And I kind of like that.
Okay, I'd be interested in checking it out, but if a strain is supposed to go 12 or 16 weeks, I want it to go 12 or 16 weeks. I don't want magic making it done faster. I want that 16-week buzz. Like we've been smoking a lot this year. We smoked a lot of Band-Aid Haze number 7. That's got to go 100 days minimum. Have you ever smoked haze hybrids that go that far? The buzz, the buzz will make you shit your pants if you're not ready for it. It's not like smoking a hybrid buzz. It's the same buzz from every fucking strain.
I don't remember what strain it was, but my buddy had some like preposterously long strain, and he'd always make bubble out of it. And I called it the paranoia hash. I was like, dude, I know the cops aren't outside, but I feel like the cops are outside.
That sounds amazing. That's the effects that I go for. From back in the day when people would describe the effects of weed, not the flavor of weed, or the effects were more important, and that changed. So it was nice to smoke a lot of older, longer strains, and it really made me realize that it's good to mix it up, even if you don't like the flavor of haze, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm a fan of the buzz. Just that land racy haze smell is not great. It smells like something you find in a witch's cabinet or something. It's potions, but it gets you high as fuck, so it's worth it. And you get a taste for it after a while. You're like, oh yeah, I know I'm about to have a different experience than I have from smoking some Skittles.
Fair enough. That's a fair point. That's something that gets lost on me. I because now with the dabs and everything, I do a shitload of edibles, like 1,000 milligrams a week at least,
Mm-hmm.
and so my tolerance is getting to the point where I joke that weed's become like aromatherapy, where it's like if it tastes the way I like, I feel like good. Whereas high, what is that? It's just like a bland. It all kind of affects me the same way. I've been talking for a while. Every week I talk about how I'm gonna like slow down and take a little tolerance break, and every week it's like, well, now's not the time. I'm moving. I'm stressed. I'll take a tolerance maybe over the holiday. Yeah.
Yeah, don't ever quit. That's when you get sick. It's like, why quit? Look at Tommy Chong. He tried quitting and he got sick, and then he's back on it.
Yeah, fascinating.
Don't ever quit smoking.
It's one of those things where literally, as I look back, I go, man, like when I was young and I was a nerd and didn't have any friends, started smoking weed, and I met all these cool people that became my lifelong friends, and weed saved me then. And then as I couldn't find work in fucking bullshit Iowa, weed saved me again. And then when I had nowhere to go and I had to escape Iowa, weed. And then once I stopped growing and the bottom fell out, weed. It's like around every corner. This plant has saved me time and time again. And now I'm Johnny Appleseed. That's why everyone's like, because I'm everywhere in the weed thing. I'm doing other people's podcasts. I'm producing things. I'm left and right center. I put out 6 pieces of weed content a week, 7 coming shortly with Jug Dealers Thursday shorts. We're doing Jug Nugs, short form Jug Dealer stuff.
All video or are you doing any?
All video, just going for it, and probably more once I move to the new Broadway apartment. It'll be getting even crazier then. So people always wonder what I do it for, and I make money. I'm able to pay my rent, but really, man, I'm Johnny Appleseed about this. I really love the idea of spreading cannabis is medicine, cannabis is recreation, cannabis is business, cannabis is self-exploration, it's meditation. Cannabis is all things to me. As I age, I'm trying to do it less. I've abused cannabis much, but it helped me get off of worse drugs. I don't drink anymore. A little bit I drink, but I'm healthy with it, maybe 1 drink a month or something. And so I don't do any other drugs. And so I might abuse it a little bit, but it's because it got me out of some worse places. And now I'm trying to mature into my final form with it.
What do you consider abuse?
Well, it's because I would do things like for today. I had my daughter all week. I have a 5-year-old girl, and so I had her all week, and we're trapped in the snowstorm. And so today I had my whole Sunday, and I was thinking about like I should just go live around noon and just like shoot the shit and hang out, and even if no one's like there, you know. And then next thing you know, like I take a bunch of edibles, I order some Denver Biscuit Company, I'm
Oh my
taking
God.
dabs, and then now I'm watching someone play Ghost and Goblins on YouTube for like 6 hours. And I'm like, what happened? Like, I didn't do anything today. And it's because I got too high. I was like, I get in my, you know what it is? I get in my head and I kind of feel like no one cares. I feel a little disconnected when I'm too high, is what I'll say.
If you
I feel
needed
like
to
no
do
one
it,
cares.
you would have done it if you needed to do it. What you needed to do is go chill out. And that's not abuse, that's self-care. And it's good to hear you taking care of yourself.
That is sage. See, that's why you need good friends to tell you good shit, because you are right. I'm probably hitting the accelerator too hard, and I need a break.
Take care. I mean, you pay your bills. If you needed to do something, you would have done it. What you needed to do is chill. So let the weed lead the way.
My man, my therapist always says, don't shoot all over yourself. Don't shoot on yourself.
Yeah, please don't. It smells. No one wants to smell that shit.
Yeah, well, some do. Put in the chat. Do you want to smell that shit?
If you do, check out the strain on my page called American Skunk Selection, or ASS, from Bodie.
Yeah.
It smells the closest thing to shit and weed you ever smelled.
Wow. See, and that's why for me, you don't want it to feel like an advertisement, but for me, it is a stressful thing. I get a lot of people saying, where can I get genetics that are vetted? I know a lot of places to get genetics. Where to get them where I trust the person? Fucking like two, you know? And so adding you to a place where it's like, look, I can send them to you and go, I'm pretty sure what you're thinking you're getting, you're going to get. You know,
I feel that way as well.
Bike, you are a custodian of the plant, and you've been vetted thoroughly over the last 20 years for sure.
This is going to be coming up on 18 years. Holy shit!
Crazy, man. The years, they do click on, man. They do click on. Well, Bike, we did it, brother. I always shoot for 90 minutes, and we did it. That was fast.
Oh yeah,
you're used to doing 3 hours. 3 hours is what. Let's go another 90. What's up?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I start to pull out the drinks and the pills, and we can do it.
All right, get Tim on the phone.
Shit. Next time we'll make it happen.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, definitely we'll have you back on, because
it was fun chatting.
I always am. I love reintroducing all, like with hanging out with P Bud and all these sort of characters that like are legends from like the OG days. Even, you know, like guys like Chem Dog that everyone knows his strain, but like no one knows. Oh, he has a glass company. You can chat with him. He exists. I love introducing these people. So you actually mentioned that you might have some guests that you can throw my way. So
yeah, we'll chat. I have some ideas for you for sure. Especially if you want to talk about microdosing.
You know, yeah. I've been there. So get seeds.com, coupon code Zamboni, son.
Do it.
Zamboni.
Get that %
just
off.
For everyone that can't spell it, because God help you if you even know what it is. Zamboni, right there.
Do they know why I'm saying Zamboni?
I have to imagine most people that have listened to the show know I drove a Zamboni for 7 years, and all the kids called me Gramboni.
Yeah, that's true.
Hilarious. And now everyone calls me Slamboni.
It's good to see you doing well, man. I remember when you were just a dude, and now you're like a somebody. So
I appreciate that, my friend. And you coming from somebody that I respect very, very much. It's all coming full circle, and I'm all about it.
It's good seeing you, dude.
You're the man. All right, man. Well, I will see you again soon, and we'll chat online.
Later on, man.
All right. Thank you, everybody. You know how we end this podcast. Is it a podcast? Or we end the smoke with the Cannabis Vibe theme song. So check you later.
We're dropping knowledge on Grambo, talking about plants and how they From seeds to the Joe, we always smoke pure. Nothing but good vibes up in here. We blaze the ganja, keep it fire. GRAMBO grows, burning desire. Learn about cultivation, step by step. You can rock out the negativity. Cannabis vibes on the air. GRAMBO grows, I'm something in. Grow, grow my green unite. GRAMBO grows, vibe with me tonight. We're dropping knowledge on GRAMBO grows, talking about plants and how they go. Let's go. From seeds to the Joe, we always smoke pure. Nothing but good vibes up in here. We blaze the ganja, keep it fire. GRAMBO grows, burning desire.